Well, welcome everybody. We have Brian McGuinness today with Wesley Mortgage. Thanks for joining us.
You bet, man. This is going to be
fun.
And
just to let you know, I'm 3-1 so far.
Oh, okay.
So no pressure.
Okay.
So odds are, usually people take bets in the office. I didn't introduce you to everybody, but they had a lot of money on Jesse last time.
We'll see.
So they lost a lot of money.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I'll probably knock it over. The secret is I kick the desk when it gets close. So, cool. When's the last time you played Jenga?
About, I don't know, a couple months ago.
Okay. The big Jenga or the regular size?
I've done both. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I'm well versed, man.
All right. Good. I like it. What's a habit you think contributes to your success?
So, you know, so much of what we try to do on a daily basis, been in the game for 20 years now. So the habits that I have are not truly intentional habits. I think the biggest thing I do that's successful for me is, whenever I get an introduction or a referral, I'm just jumping on it and, trying to be borrower focused and making sure that they understand that their goals are my goals. And that's just a mantra, but that's something that's, taken place over the course of my career. And it's gotten me to where my success rate's higher. I get more borrowers to buy into me and what I'm trying to sell them because they believe in what I'm doing and how I'm going about doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize 20 years?
20 years.
Because I've been in this for almost 20 years. So we got kicking about the same time. We've known each other for almost 20 years.
Right. November of 2003, I started at Franklin American.
Because we met, it was through that BNI.
Yeah, it was Ashley Pinson.
Ashley Pinson, that's right.
Yeah.
It was probably in 06 or something.
Something like that.
Probably 05. That's cool. All right.
All right, I'm going deep. We're gonna upset the foundation here. What's a common misconception about your profession?
They're not all business questions either.
That's
There's
okay.
some actual personal ones that are kind of fun.
What's your favorite color?
Yeah.
I mean yellow. Misconception about your profession.
You want me to answer it?
Oh, okay, sure.
Look, I can say something, but look,
I think we can both answer it.
Yeah,
that's a good.
I'll start. So, probably the thing, and I don't know that it's necessarily a misconception, but some people don't understand how the insurance premiums work and how they're developed.
Right.
And a lot of people feel like it's I think they come back to us and get frustrated with us, but I think it's not. I think people understand it's not necessarily us. They're just frustrated,
right?
And they want to voice their opinion. But I would say the misconception probably is that, the insurance companies, people think they're out to screw them.
Right.
And, they are profitable and they have to be, and they've been profitable for a long time. It's one of the few industries that hasn't changed a lot over the years.
Right.
But I don't think that they are out just to screw people, but things have gotten really expensive.
Yeah.
And everybody feels that, but they don't think about how that equates to insurance. And insurance is all based off of what you have to pay in claims. And so, if everything's more expensive, then your insurance has to be more expensive to make up for that. So,
gotcha.
I don't know if that really answers the question, but that's what I'm going with.
I think it does. That's it's rare to get the perspective from the insurance company agent, whatever. That hey, this is at the end of the day, it's a math problem.
Exactly.
Hey,
you have buckets, and you got to put money in the bucket
right.
and take money out of the bucket.
Right.
It's like a budget. I mean, if you don't budget properly at the end of the month, you don't have enough money. Then you got to change something. I
don't know if it's for mortgage. I don't think it's a misconception; it's a misperception. So I'll go that way. But words are important. I think more people are just like, "What's your rate? What's your rate? What's your rate?" They think a mortgage is all about the rate. It's more so that in a refinance environment, but in a purchase market, which is where I feel that's where I specialize in. A rate is important. Obviously, you want the best payment possible, but there's so much more to the mortgage transaction than just an interest rate. So it's you kind of have to. We've always been one of these companies where, look, we're not the cheapest. But we're certainly not the most expensive, but we are the best at getting it, from contract to close.
And that's what everybody wants.
Right.
Not everybody, but that's what the people you want to work with want.
Exactly.
It's like you want a fair product, you want a fair price, but you want someone to help you.
Exactly.
And do it. And I know you guys are great at that.
Well, and understanding what service means in the mortgage world that's the hard part. What does service look like in the mortgage world? And it's our job to demonstrate that.
And providing the rate's easy, right? But getting it closed is not.
No, that's the hard part.
And so it's like you have all the things, the twists and turns along the way,
right.
and be able to navigate that. And if you can't, then that low
Exactly.
rate doesn't really matter because you're not going to close.
That's right.
So,
All right, you're up.
all right. All right. Oh, this is a tough one. I've had this one before. Maybe you have a good answer for this, but describe a situation where you overcame a professional obstacle. I feel like this is the hardest question in there. We always get it. A professional obstacle that you've overcome.
All the time. There's so many times where, when we present a file to an underwriter, it's basically saying, look, here's our work. Make sure we've done it right. Followed the guidelines and met all the criteria. And a lot of times an underwriter will have, they're like they protect the bank, the industry, they protect against bad loans, basically. And sometimes they can look at a file and say, look, everything I see here is like this story that I've just been told in several pages, many, many pages of work and screens and this and that. It's not going to meet the criteria. But then you have to give the narrative. Like, hey, my team and I many times have had to get on the phone with an underwriter and say, hey, and I see the way you're seeing it, but the way it really is this. And it's item, hey, the property type that you're calling, a manufactured home, it's actually a modular home. And it meets the criteria of a stick-built house. It's a single-family residence.
Right.
It's
just because, put together before he gets there or whatever. Yeah.
It's because Davidson County doesn't delineate between manufactured home and modular home. Yeah. The house was put together on the lot, but it was built off-site, and it's a stick-built house. And so you have to peel back the layers sometimes and show an underwriter, hey, listen, you're doing your job and you're doing it well. However, there's an oversight. You're looking in the wrong spot. Yeah. And we've done stuff like that.
Well, there's no doubt that's where having experience comes into play, because if you aren't, experienced loan officer or done a work for an experienced company, then you're not going to know those ins and outs. Like, because there's always different situations, but some of them are similar.
The first time in my career coming up against an obstacle like that, I'm like, what the hell are we going to do? I don't even know who to call. So, you surround yourself with professionals on your team that can then say, hey, I think I have an idea. Let me call so-and-so. And that's, again, it goes back to my previous answer. Service is, it's incredible to, once you see, sometimes you just wish a customer or borrower or a realtor could see behind the curtain for a minute and say, wow. Wow, that was really impressive. And I'm not the type of guy that's ever going to go out and beat my chest over. Yeah, we called the assessor's office, and we got it done. It's really not my style. Sometimes I probably should do more of that. I find a better way of doing it that would appease myself. But it's really it's about knowing how to overcome the obstacles. Like all right, hey, we just had a roadblock put in our path. What's the best way to create a new path to still get to the final approval and get this whole thing done?
Yeah, that's great.
All right, I'm up.
All right. That was impressive. You circle back to the obstacle at the end of the question, because I couldn't remember what the question was. You're natural.
What's your approach to building client relationships? I can go.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's I always want my client. The word is in the answer is in the question. It's relationships. It's about all the things that everything you needed to know about life you learned in kindergarten. Like be honest, be fair, be truthful, be communicate, be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. All the little things, but at the same time, invest in your client's time. Get to know them. Get to know, hey, what's happening this weekend? Like, how do you break the ice the first time? That's usually like the part where reluctance comes in. But when you make a client happy, pressing your bet, saying, hey, listen, the whole idea behind me making you happy was to get a chance to work with you again because I like you. And, it's also feeds my family. But at the same time, I'm choosing to work with you. I really like the opportunity to work with you. can we break bread? Can we go have coffee? Can we meet for a happy hour? Hey, I got tickets to a ball game, that kind of stuff, to where we can get to know each other personally. And I've always felt like once you get to that opportunity, finding the right time to ask deep questions. One of my mentors in the mortgage business, he said, it was this little cartoon he gave me, and it was a question, and it was a little cartoon is two boys playing football, and the one boy says to the other one, he says, "Go deep," and he's got the ball and he's ready to throw a pass, and the kid comes back. He doesn't go out for a pass route. He asks him a deep question, and he said the question was, how can free will exist with something like everything's been preordained?
Yeah.
Like, how can free will exist when your life's been preordained?
Yeah.
And the kid sits there and he's like dumb shocked, and he says, "That's too deep."
Yeah.
And then the kid comes back again. He goes, "If Batman died, would the Joker be happy?" That's
that's
the follow-up
that
question. So go deep is something I try to think of when I'm talking with a realtor or a referral partner of sorts, or a customer. I've always thought that in my world, the best referrals come from a borrower, because they've been through the transaction.
Right.
They've been through the ropes. Like, we've put them through the fire, and they're one of ours now. Like, hey, we're all on the same team.
They
and
know.
Hopefully,
They
you had a
know
great
how it all
transaction.
works, and they're gonna.
When a realtor says something, or like, let's say an insurance agent, or like whatever, if I refer you, they're like, "Oh yeah, great, sure, Brian, Jeremy, he's giving you a kickback. I don't know, right? Come on, hey, we need those kickbacks."
Yeah.
But when a customer, like I'm one of your clients, so when somebody says, "Hey, who do you recommend for insurance?"
Right.
I said, "Well, Jeremy Holt's my guy."
Yeah.
So that carries so much more weight.
Oh, for sure.
Like, oh wow, not only I see y'all work together, but I see. So when a borrower tells somebody else something good about me, I'm looking at that like, that's gold.
Yeah.
So the motivation is, it's always, you want a happy customer, but at the end of the day, the referral is a byproduct of a successful transaction.
Yeah.
So that's, that all, I think I went a long way to answer the question, but there's a lot of things that you can do to deepen those client relationships.
Oh yeah, no doubt, and it's everything, right? It's what keeps you in business. All right. Oh boy. Looking for the easy ones. All right. We haven't had a fun one yet. How do you keep up with evolving market demands or market changes? Or you've dealt with that a lot last year. Like, what's your secret?
It's been a lot of playing catch up this year. There's new products that are out there that the average client doesn't know about. That investors, as hard as it's been this year with in the mortgage world, investors still want to loan money. They're like, hey, listen, we got to, we're slowing down too. We got to create something that can mitigate the risk, that can allow somebody to be underwritten, and that we can make money. So, educating a customer base and realtor base about, here's some new products. Here's this. Here's a for instance, like a DSCR loan.
I don't know what that is.
Debt service credit ratio. It's an investment property product that doesn't conform to any Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac rules on buying an investment property. It really boils down to what's the mortgage payment and what's the rent. And the easiest way to explain it is if the rental income exceeds the mortgage payment, you're approved.
Wow.
It's very basic. It's the vanilla explanation.
Are the rates similar to investment properties? Better?
No, it's worse.
Worse.
But
it's easier. It's different, right?
It's easier is a very relative term.
Yeah.
They're not easy. They're not easy loans. They have criteria. You've got to underwrite them. But educating a customer base about, hey, here's what's going on. We can't get you approved. Let me look at a different product.
Yeah.
And it's about staying educated on what the investors, what the banks are offering to, obviously make a living, but also like you want to be relevant. You want to be, you want to show your realtors and your referral partners, hey, I've got a product out here for you. I want you to know about in the event that you've got a client looking for it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's great. Especially right now, you got to be creative and try to get as much as you can.
It's tough, man. It's a tough world out there. Oh, man.
Tightened up on us. There he goes.
How do you handle stress and pressure? Bourbon is not the answer.
I'll answer and I'll throw yours in there. So, I mean, for me, and I've had this question before, but it's I've really gotten into for me, it's like breath work and meditation. I've
Really?
gotten into that a little bit. And I guess it's something that's been around forever, obviously, but it's not kind of mainstream. And I think it can be life-changing. I mean, I think that I find myself to be anxious a lot, just every day, just getting through a day. And I think when you do that, you're breathing slow and shallow, or quick and shallow, and so you're not getting like your body in what it actually needs. And so when you meditate, you slow down.
I didn't know you
breathe more.
You were a guru.
I'm a guru.
I love it.
So next time we'll meditate together.
That's awesome.
I'll do a meditation.
That's awesome.
But I mean, I'm not great at it. But I've started to do it and I enjoy it. I wish I did it more. I wish I did it every day before work if I tried to. But
just like anything.
But that's been good for me, is to release some stress.
I'm going to answer your question with how I deal with stress and pressure, and it's one of those things for me. I feel like I'm always under pressure. Like I got a call from a customer and he wants to be approved, and I can't get him approved, and how am I going to do it? You spend too much mental energy on how do I get this person approved, and I'm on a deadline. I got to respond. I've got to let this person know, here's what they can do, or I'm going to lose them. That is stressful to me. Exercise is great.
I agree with that.
Personally, my favorite thing is it's a great release for me. I love watching sports. I love watching my kids play ball, and sometimes just going to a ball game and checking out, and like not looking at the phone, but being focused like that. Watching sports takes my focus out of work and puts it on the court.
Me too,
field.
man. I'm the same way. Like, having a kids game to go to after work
finding
and just
a good way to check
relax
out.
For a minute. Yeah.
That's for me. But the thing about that is it's blocked on the calendar. Like when you block out and you have whatever the task is, whether it's work related or hey, here's where I'm going to be. That's my time. I have this much time to get it done. I find when I block out time for work, I've got an hour to get it done, I get it done.
Yeah.
So the time blocking part of it is how I manage my own, like I know it's going to be stressful. It's going to be stressful for an hour.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. No, that's good, because I find myself sometimes when it's a tall task like that, it just looms over and you procrastinate on it. But if you do set time for it and actually concentrate on it for that amount of time, it actually sometimes takes less time than you really thought it was going to.
Yeah.
Or at least if you spend an hour on it, you get a big chunk done.
Being able to devote the mental energy required is the biggest part of it.
Yeah. All right, that's you, isn't it?
Am I up or you? No, I think it's you.
Is it me? Oh my goodness, I'm trying. That's how I win. I try to get you to go twice. I was supposed to do that.
Oh, it's cheating. I know where I'm going next now.
Yeah, I know it's an easy one. What's your favorite thing about living around Nashville?
Oh man.
And you live in Nashville.
I live in Davidson
so you
County.
live right in the middle of a lot of it. Yeah.
It's hard to pick one. I'm gonna kick myself. My answer is usually Nashville gets 4 full seasons. But last week I was tired of winter really, really quickly.
What's your favorite thing about living where you live now? Because that's a really cool area.
In the Nations?
Yeah.
I like, what I like about the Nations, I love the restaurants.
Yeah.
The Nikki's Coal Fired is, in my opinion, it's in the conversation for the best pizza in Nashville, top 3. The other really great place is Bringle's Smoking Oasis. Carrie Bringle, who owns Peg Leg Porker, it's more of a Texas style barbecue joint. It's fabulous. And
I've never heard either one of those.
the weirdest barbecue item that they have that I can't ever pass up is the pastrami. They do they smoke a corned
Like a
beef
thick
brisket.
cut of it, or what is it?
They cut it to the pound. Like usually they'll give you, like when you say, hey, I want some pastrami or I want some pulled pork or whatever it is, they'll give you a quarter pound. And it's priced by the pound, so it can get away from you really quick. If you're like, hey, that's not enough, load up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great place, and they have these huge televisions, covered patio with a bar outside. It's a great place. You need to check that out.
Okay.
But the restaurants over in the Nations are fantastic. And obviously, Nashville's a music city, so there's so many great. Like it's never ending. Like who's coming to town this week? Check the Bridgestone, check Ascend, check whatever, and you can see some amazing musicians any day of the week.
For sure.
All right, I'm going right here.
Again, the one I set up for you.
Ooh. What's an upcoming project you're excited about?
Do you have an answer? You get something?
You go first.
All right, upcoming project I'm excited about. I mean, for me personally, I'm working on trying to get a little bit healthier, and so I'm working on just have been. You find everybody on Instagram, you follow people, and there's a guy I found. I'm not sure I love him, but his message and what his general delivery is really good, and so trying to eat a little better, trying to just feel better, and it does make a difference, and it's easy to forget that though,
Being in your 40s, it's like it's a tap on the shoulder.
It's like, hey, man. So, but it's like, I know that I need to make changes, and I keep putting it off, and so, and I know a lot of it's nutrition, and so I've been trying to do that recently. So that's a project I'm working on right now, is just try to clean it up a little bit, So,
that's
what
good.
about yourself?
So, I look at where I am at Wesley Mortgage as its own project. Wesley's only a few years old as a company. And, my coworkers and I, we started there. Basically, the majority of us started a couple of years ago. And we're growing. And that's been a really fun project, like building a company. And it's been challenging in a lot of ways. It's a strange market. It's, uncertainty in a lot of ways, but and being a company where it's like, hey, let's hack this out. Let's just keep going. So it changes from week to week. So that keeps it, it keeps us on our toes. And we got to stay alive. We got to stay smart. We got to stay nimble. And at the same time, we got to be competitive. We got to be efficient. We got to do all these things. And it's, again, it goes back to the stuff you learned about business, whether you took classes in college or if you're just starting out. I was fortunate enough to work at a really successful company in a great market, so it wasn't hard. Like you go up to the mortgage tree and you pick a mortgage off, say, hey, I need to do this.
The phone, and
it was great. Yeah. But now it's been a challenging market. Pounding the phones and trying to trying not to be that guy that's like, hey, we haven't done a deal together in a long time. When are you going to send me a deal? Yeah. It's like I can't ask for a deal that they don't have.
Right.
So everybody's scuffling to be busy and do business and have transactions, but at the same time building a company, it's kept me alert and alive. And
there's a lot to it. There's no doubt.
So it's ongoing. It's not an upcoming project. It's something that we're working on. We're trying to build Wesley Mortgage into a leader in not only Middle Tennessee but eventually in the Southeast.
It's awesome. All right. If you could travel anywhere, where would you go?
If I could travel anywhere, right now I want to go somewhere warm. So I love the Caribbean. I've been to many places in the Caribbean. I love scuba diving. It's like, you want to talk about a checkout? When you get underwater, and the first time I went scuba diving, I felt my I couldn't hear my phone buzz. I couldn't hear any alerts, no notifications. I was like,
I'm sure you got to be dialed in too, right? You got to pay attention to what you're doing.
It's hyper focused, but relaxing. It was fantastic. So, I'm going to say the Mediterranean. I've never been. I want to go. Italy, Greece.
You've been to Europe before?
I've been to Ireland.
Okay.
So not mainland Europe, but Brian McGuinness felt like Ireland was the most important place to go first.
That's right. It only makes sense.
But it's been a long time, so that's something I've got. I'd love to do some traveling again sometime soon.
I'm with you.
Ooh, getting stuck and stiff over here. There we go. All right. How do you stay updated with industry trends? You got an answer?
Yeah, I mean, industry trends for us, there's a lot of changes recently, so we are constantly getting information from the carriers we write with. They're always providing us information. There's obviously like groups that you can be part of, and we're part of a couple groups that do that. Kind of keeping the pulse of the people and
Right.
what everybody is experiencing and dealing with. But that's a little bit, trying to keep up with all of it through several different sources is what we would do.
Similar in my world, the banks that we sell loans to, they do a great job. The account executives with those banks are constantly, hey, just in case you haven't heard, here's our new shiny toy. Here's the new thing we've got going. The MI companies, the mortgage insurance companies, also do a great job of that. Their reps are creating new opportunities to insure loans and stay competitive with costs. So it's a great we partner up with great great people, but the mortgage insurance companies of the world, along with the banks, they're always, again, their motivation is we need to sell our product. Yeah. When you sell your product, hopefully you'll use our product on the back end. So it's our partnerships in the industry that get us where we're going.
How many different we have 10 different companies you can quote through. How is it for you when you have a mortgage? Is it unlimited? Is it a several? A handful, or
you could have for the garden variety Fannie and Freddie loans, you could have anywhere. I mean, there's thousands of mortgage companies. There's hundreds and hundreds of investors. Picking the right investor to underwrite the loan, or that you underwrite to their standards, or whatever. If it's ultimately you want somebody who's going to be close to Fannie and Freddie guidelines without any overlays. That's how we pick our partnerships. We want somebody that's going to give us the best path, the most the path that conforms to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac underwriting guidelines without their own bank overlays. That's who we try to partner with, and it could be anyone. Like the Wells Fargos of the world. Well, they're not doing correspondent lending anymore, but Planet Home or Flagstar or First Community Bank, or First Community Bank's got a mortgage division called a Mortgage Boutique, and they're a great partner to us too. There's probably on any given day there's 14 or 15 that we look at depending on the product.
Yeah.
And it's useful.
That's the world you've always been in, though, right? Or Franklin American, you always had options.
At Franklin American, we had options we could go to, but Franklin American had its own portfolio of products.
Okay.
We just looked at Franklin American products back then. But even at the smaller banks, they can say, hey, listen, we're going to fund this off of our credit line. We're good. We're going to underwrite it to our standards. Or, hey, this is one we don't have a great appetite for. Let's use this investor and make sure that we underwrite to their guidelines. Or, hey, we're not going to underwrite it because it's a complex product. We're going to send it to them to underwrite. So it all depends on what the need is and how it fleshes out in the transaction. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Got it.
All right. You up or me?
I think it's me, isn't it? I think it is.
Ooh.
All right, this is a good one. What is your proudest achievement?
Oh man.
That's a hard one, huh?
Personally, it's I'm so proud of my kids. It's amazing. 3 just awesome. Somebody told me a long time ago. It's like your job as a dad is to turn your kids into good adults, and I think I've done a pretty good job with that. But it's really not much on me. They've they're awesome. They're just fun. They're hardworking. They're smart. They're friendly. They're kind, and they're doing all the things that I want them to do. So, personally speaking, that's what I'm most proud of. Professionally speaking, man, there's been so many successes over the years. It comes out to the little ones, like when when creativity is needed in a way to get a deal done, and sometimes you brainstorm on it. I can't think of just one that jumps out, but I can remember some successes over the years where, I mean, like sometimes it's crazy. I do remember one now. It's crazy when you've got a couple. I had a couple that was going to get you buy a house together, and they're going to eventually get married, and I'm like, hey, this thing would be approved if you got married. And
So you put a marriage together?
I got some. I have brought love into the world. I've created some love in the mortgage business. It's one of those things that, like, how do I say this? And it was really funny. The customer worked at Planet Fitness. Both of them worked at Planet Fitness, and they got married at Planet Fitness.
Did they?
At the front desk, and
Right.
one of the trainers, who was a friend of theirs, got ordained to be the celebrant,
hilarious.
and the officiant. So it was. I remember it being a really fun story, but it was one of these deals where it was it was kind of a hardship case. Like look, we really need to buy this house. We're going to get kicked out, and evicted or whatever. They sold the rental house, and this guy's moving in, and we don't have a place to live. We've got to live close to here, and I got this house, and it all works out. If you can make this work, I'm like, I got a plan. Here you go. And it's been great. They stay in touch with me, and it's been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. I'm sure you feel this a lot. It's not every time, but there's a huge reward to having somebody on your side help you accomplish a big. I mean, it's a big step for most people buying a home, and it's like, and for somebody like that, maybe they never bought a home before, or definitely not together.
Right.
And so for them to be able to do that is really cool. And so I'm sure they were very appreciative of you for doing that.
I think so. It's one of the funnier ones. Like you always, a lot of people I know, realtors and lenders alike, they'll say, this one's going in the book. When I write my book, this one's going in. That was one that would go in.
That's cool.
All right. I think I know which one.
Oh. Yeah.
How does Nashville's culture influence your work?
I'll answer it, and you can throw some in there too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Nashville's culture or influence I guess the growth of Nashville has been a big impact on our business. Obviously, everything's sped up, I think, compared to 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You can just feel it's becoming a bigger city. But I don't know. I mean, I think, I guess that's what I'd say.
I think, Nashville, when I moved here in 2003, I thought I was getting in the mortgage business. I'm like, this is going to be a career. This is going to be good. I'm going to be able to make a living. And, I was in my, nearly 30 years old, and I was like, all right, I got to have something to hang my hat on. I can't just be, running the streets. I got to find put down some roots with a company. And I had no idea how the foundation of Nashville's economy was so strong. Mm-hmm. Like, it was such a great base. And looking back, you look at the healthcare industry and all the subsidiaries that branch off of the healthcare companies, and then, Nissan was here, and all the subsidiaries, the third-party vendors that, service that industry. And then, obviously, the music business has had its ups and downs, but everybody's here to be a musician. And then they're like, hey, I'm not making it as a musician. I'm still going to play as often as I can, but I'm going to go into the service industry. And learning all the ins and outs of those, just for example, those three industries, healthcare, automotive, and music. What are the nuances about it? That being able to become an expert in how to finance deals for those individual people has been something that I can lean on. Like when a musician calls me and says, "Hey, so and so gave me your name. I need to get a loan, but
They don't have a normal
I've got
W-2,
7
do they?
1099s.
Yeah.
I've got 2 W-2s. I've been doing this a long time, but I'm nervous."
Yeah.
I'll look at it and say, "We're good." That doesn't scare me. Let's make sure you got good credit, and that we have enough money, you make enough money, but you're okay. Like we're going to make this happen. So it's being able to work with underwriters in my career that understood it and taught me the way to do it has been huge. But those three industries, and now, I mean, gosh, tourism has taken off, and all the gigantic companies that are moving here, Amazon, Oracle,
You're right. Yeah, and it's just to avoid like a downturn. We haven't had a downturn.
No,
and
we
missed a lot of like national economic issues and didn't affect us. Really,
I remember back when everything was hitting the fan in the mortgage business in 2008, 9, 10. There was a mortgage company watch where you could just see companies getting vaporized like overnight. Hey, so and so closed. What? Oh my gosh! Here we were in Nashville. We had such great leadership at Franklin American that was poised for growth, and we're like, hey, we're gonna pick our moment. We're not gonna step into this crazy market and do all these crazy products that everybody's been doing that's getting the industry in trouble. And when all these doors were closing over here, we just scooped up market share left and right. We grew. We went from like a top 75 lender to a top 15 lender in no time. Mm-hmm. And it was because of the decisions that leadership made to be in the right place at the right time. And those things it just amazed me at how it all just kind of unfolded. And knowing how the industry trends were, like what they were, those industry trends, recognizing those as bad trends and saying, we're not going to come for that new shiny object. We're going to be patient. We don't like what that looks like in the long run.
That's hard to do sometimes too. When you have something sitting there that you can take, and you're like, that's not the way to do it.
Absolutely.
So, all right, you want to go again?
Am I up?
No, it's me. I was just trying to be nice. I heard some big news last night.
What's that?
Jersey Shore's coming to Nashville. Did you hear that?
Out.
Yeah, that's going to be. I'm sure that's going to be interesting, right?
The situation in town.
I know we watch Ridiculousness all the time. I love that show. You ever watch that show? It's like America's Funniest Home Videos, but it's just like kind of upgraded.
Right.
It's like or updated. So it's more hip. It's
it's Snooki and JWoww. Is that what the names I'm remembering?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Jersey Shore. Yes, but they're coming to Nashville. They're like, it's the new Vegas. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, right.
Can you imagine what they're going to be? That's going to be nuts down there. What's a book that significantly impacted you?
Oh wow.
Can you think of one?
Well, I just finished reading a book I've wanted to read for a long time, Lonesome Dove, and it's. I remember it from when I was growing up. My dad loved Larry McMurtry, and I looked at it when I was a kid, and it looked like the biggest textbook. It was. I mean, it's like 900 pages, and I just read it, and it's a bit of it's a hard story, but it's good. I think back and I read for entertainment. Some books I've read that I really like are, like I go back to high school, like, stuff I read in 10th grade and, Lord of the Flies, The Lords of Discipline, Catcher in the Rye. Catcher in the Rye is, I keep.
You read books in high school?
Yeah, I actually did.
That's good.
Those are books like fiction. I get more inspiration from
the
characters.
Fiction. Yeah, that's cool.
And stuff and like books I've read over the years. Some that I find hilarious. There's a book series written by a guy named Tim Dorsey, and if you want to, it's a great mindless it could be read at the beach like that. But he's got a series about it's like a vigilante serial killer who becomes, you pull for him. His name is Serge Storms. He was born in Florida during the Cuban Missile Crisis, and he becomes like Florida's anti-hero. It's really great.
It's like Deadpool?
Yeah, it kills people in a really, really, really creative, gruesome way, and you root for them. It's weird, but it's good. But I find
That's cool.
I find more inspiration in, fiction.
It's not the direct like I read all the personal growth books, and now I've gotten to the point where I've read so many that I'm like, I can't change anymore. I'm tired of like all the
Right.
suggestions. It's I love everybody's got like what they think is perfect to make your life wonderful.
Maybe it's altruistic in thought, but like, hey, a character who's struggling and overcomes. I don't care if it's fiction or real, but that's something that we all get behind.
It was developed by somebody,
Yeah.
and it's all
And honestly,
based off something.
You see more stories like that in real life. There's the guy who was the dean of admissions at Rhodes when I went to Rhodes was a guy named Dave Waddle. Do you recognize that name? All right. So, 1972 Olympics, he was Olympian. He represented the United States and ran the 800 meters. He's the guy that wore the baseball hat.
That's a rough race.
You ever see the race in the baseball hat?
I don't know.
I'm going to send you the link. It's amazing. He was unorthodox, I guess, but he was he was an American runner. And at the start of the race, he got a bad start and he falls behind. And at the 400 meter mark, he's in last. And he timed his kick perfectly and came back and won.
No way.
And it's like when you listen to the broadcast, it's like you want to stand up and just raise your hand.
He has a hat on while he's doing this.
Wearing a baseball hat. I'll send you the link.
That's crazy.
I watched this thing 1,000 times. I've shared it with so many people. But it's really cool because his sons, David and Mike, were at Rhodes when I was there.
Okay.
And like he's the most unassuming guy, but he's got a gold medal.
Oh my gosh. How
it's
cool is that?
It's like what?
Yeah.
So I find stories like that, and I go back to sports all the time about there's so many opportunities to see an underdog overcome. I find inspiration in stories like that.
Yeah.
More so than books.
Yeah. I gotcha. That's awesome. All right, it's you. Really putting the pressure on there.
Oh man.
Oh, look at that.
Come on.
It's not moving, huh?
It's slowly. I can't leave it like
Can
that,
you go
I?
higher? I don't. It doesn't matter. Set it up for somebody else. For me. That's the play, huh?
I think it's the only one. What's the pool up to out there? Oh, there it is.
I don't know. It's looking pretty good for you now. Nice work.
What are your goals for the next year?
Ooh, goals for next year. I always, typically I'm like, January 1st, I'm going to write down all these goals. And I had 2023s all written on my mirror. The other day I looked at them, I was like, none of these, and they didn't even like feel right to me at that point.
Right.
So this year, like, my goal is to try to kind of slow down a little bit. I don't have a written goal.
Right.
I didn't write any down this year. So for me, it's just to kind of slow down, be more present, just try to enjoy life a little bit more, and just make the most of what I have. So I'm keeping it pretty simple this year.
Yeah.
So just the little things.
Yeah.
So what about yourself?
Professionally, it's not a number; it's just growth. 2023 was a hard year, professionally speaking. So, doing the things on a daily, weekly basis to increase productivity. I think we're poised to have a better market. So growth and just more deals, more closings, more efficiencies, more just not necessarily writing it down and like holding myself to some number standard, but just being proactive with relationships and going out and finding the business. So that's a weekly thing for me. Personally speaking, it's, watch as many of my kids' ball games as I can. I don't miss one, but
I love it.
And I've
I'm
got
the same.
my daughter's a senior this year, and she's done playing volleyball. So it's honestly that now it's like, okay, you've freed up a lot of time for me. So it'll be basketball and soccer for my 7th grader, and then lacrosse for my 9th grader. So a lot of ball games. And then I've got one thing I am definitely going to master is cooking a brisket on the smoker. I have had such trouble with that.
It's not easy to do.
Listen, I see people do it on Instagram and TikTok, and I'm like, it's not that easy, So I get fired up over it, and I want to get better.
What's your smoker choice?
So I've got a big green egg. Excuse me. I've got a big green egg that I love. And I was down in Louisiana. I took my daughter on a trip to LSU to watch the LSU Florida game. She and I went because she mentioned to me that she might want to go to LSU for college, and I said, well, we should definitely go down there on a football weekend and check out the campus. We didn't go on a tour or anything; we just went to a football game. So, but on the way to the game, we stopped in Gonzales, Louisiana, at a place called Bergeron's, and I bought like $175 worth of boudin. You know what boudin is? Boudin's delicious. It's a way of life in Louisiana. I get to the cash register and I've got all this boudin, and it says right there, if you spend more than $100, enter your name and number here into a drawing to win that Traeger grill over there. So I said, yeah, I qualify, so I just put it in there. 3 weeks later, I get a phone call. Hey, you won the Traeger grill. They're like, hey, can you come get it? I'm like, I can't today. I'm in Nashville. But
fortunately, another reason you get some more boudin. Right?
Fortunately, my niece and my niece and her husband live like down like a mile away, so they went and got it and stored it for me. And then when I was down, I got it back. Got it up here in December. So I've tried it out a few times. Made some wings. Did a brisket run. It didn't turn out quite how I wanted. So
it's the big green brisket. It's better than the Traeger brisket right now.
I have not been successful. My standards are high, so I have not been successful with a brisket just yet. I'll report back.
Yeah, I have a big green egg, but I never use it because I don't know. But yes, I've heard brisket is tough. This could be it, guys.
Oh, you found one, you dog.
All right. We already asked this one, I think. We did. A common misconception about your profession. So we'll keep rolling.
You got to go again, don't you?
No! Because I picked the wrong question. That's a good one.
What local event do you look forward to each year?
You answer it. What's yours?
The best festival in Nashville every year is the Tomato Art Festival over in right around 5 Points in East Nashville, and it's the second Saturday in August. It is usually the hottest day of the year. It's a fantastic festival. Just tons of people watching. There's a race, there's booths, there's food, there's all kinds of tomato-y stuff, but it's all surrounding. Meg and Brett McFadden used to have an art gallery in East Nashville, and they would host. It's all about the tomato art. Artists from all over the world make paintings, sculptures, all kinds of art surrounding the tomato. And it's run by a great guy named Jack Davis. He does a great job with that festival, and it's grown just massive.
I've heard of it, never been.
August,
right?
It's August. Wear a tank top.
Yeah.
Wear sunscreen. Bring a hat.
Yeah.
And enjoy. There's a Bloody Mary contest. There's a redhead contest. Like who's got the reddest hair.
I love it.
It's a really cool festival, and a friend of mine and I used to cook. We had a little fundraiser where we'd cook jambalaya, and it was really fun. It got to be a lot of work and just exhausting. I miss doing it, but it's something I enjoy going to see.
Cool. Let's check it out sometime.
All right, you're up.
All right. You tried that one.
Man.
I'm not sure. Oh, there he goes. All right. How do you think client needs will change in the future?
Well, we have a pretty straightforward industry in my mind. The needs of the client. In Nashville, it seems like density is going to be the biggest issue. Like, I don't know that housing is going to have the going to be the big change. The houses that we finance and how you finance them and what you need to do to qualify is going to be relatively the same. I think Nashville is just getting so geographically big. There's got to be some changes there. Obviously, workers, employees being able to work remotely is a big thing. That's been good. I wish Nashville had a better transit solution. It's overdue. I don't have the first idea on how to really make it happen. But when you go to a city like Chicago or New York or DC, and they have a transit system, that would alleviate a lot of burden on a customer that wants to live in a $300,000 house, but works in Nashville.
Right, 45 minutes away.
Workforce housing is to me it's a big problem. It's a hard solution. Better transit and better access to Davidson County without the congestion is needed. Again, like I said, I don't pretend to have the solution, but I'm not paid to think about that kind of stuff.
Do you see, I feel like 20 years ago, when you were getting your first job, when you were 22 years old, you could go buy a condo, you could go buy a house. It's really hard to do.
Like my kids.
I mean, do you see many early 20s buying stuff now, or is it mid 20s, late 20s, 30, getting married?
It's rare, and when they do, they're buying. When they're buying it with their own money, not getting help from mom and dad, or hey, I'm buying a 3-bedroom house. It's way too big for me. And so is the payment, but I'm going to have roommates, and we're going to qualify like this. It's going to work, and I'll get the loan, and then I'll actually make the payment like this. It's a challenge. So that's probably another thing is like that. That's the needs of the customer. You see a lot of stuff on Instagram and TikTok where millennials are ridiculed sometimes for complaining about the cost of housing. It's a real thing. It's a real problem. My kids, I don't know how I would, I'm looking at it like, hey, get a job you love, but make a lot of money. I mean, it's a balancing act. So, I guess it's all kind of in fault. But the first thing that came to mind was workforce housing. And how do you have employees that work in Davidson, but they live 45 minutes away?
Yeah, the transits. I mean, you're right. That's what they do in other cities.
Gas and parking and time. And it's all just brutal.
Yeah.
And you see how it works in bigger cities like Chicago, like I said, Chicago and DC is like the transit system there is bonkers. It's amazing. It can't be that hard to do. I mean, DC is literally in a swamp. Maybe it's easier because it's a swamp, but there's ways to dig. There's above ground. There's rail lines here.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Devote some time and energy to it the same way you devote to figuring out, the other policies that you've got to figure out. But it just seems like it's a thing that could be done with some thinking.
I didn't think about that. That would be a big benefit to people who are trying to do something. So yep.
This might be it.
It's getting tight in there. It's like a surgeon hands.
All right, come on, work.
Oh! Pressure's on.
What's the best part about working in your field?
I'll answer real quick and I'll let you jump in there too. So the best part about working in my field is the people that I get to meet.
Same.
I mean, it's for here internally, I work with my brother and my sister, which is, I mean, you can't beat that, right? Is to have that family atmosphere. And then the people who work in your office, I love. And
Yeah.
then my clients, I don't love insurance. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I don't know who loves insurance, but I love my clients, love my referral
Well,
partners.
you love what you get to do for them too.
And yeah.
Like
yeah, I mean, when they need help.
The
yeah.
service you provide, and the same as in the mortgage business. Like it's cliche sometimes, but the American dream, like hey, being a homeowner, or hey, this is a part of your wealth strategy, and I get to be a part of that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like getting to know referral partners and their families, and hey, where do you? Oh, I saw you posted something about your kid. It was so cute, or being able to interact like that. It's rewarding in ways that the business itself is not.
Yeah.
The business itself, it's a great living, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like, man, I need that connection,
Yeah.
and that's having that connection with real people that you choose to work with. You can't trade that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I have hundreds of clients, and so many of them are my friends, and it gives me a reason to talk
Yeah.
to them all the time. So it's cool. I think you may have done it there. Yeah, this top.
Don't be
part's-
copping out.
That's really wiggly. I don't know if that's gonna come. You knew it was
man.
coming. I knew. I was like,
Yes, indeed.
congratulations. You're a hell of a Jenga player. Thanks, man.
You bet.
Appreciate it.